How does losing out on Tyreek Hill affect the Jets and their free agency moving forward? And more importantly, how does it affect the draft moving forward? Let's talk about it. So, as we all know, Tyreek Hill chose Miami over the New York Jets in a trade yesterday. And it sucks because obviously we lose Tyreek Hill to a division rival, and he doesn't come to our team filling a pretty big need for the Jets. Now, how do the Jets pivot from this situation, and how do we move forward knowing that we still need a wide receiver and we do have other holes in this roster? I think a lot of people now think that this solidifies that the Jets are going to be taking a wide receiver at 10, forcing our hand at 4 to take an edge rusher. I think edge rusher at 4 is a lock. It's going to happen. I think that position, that player is going to be Trayvon Walker. I think his versatility to play inside and outside on the defensive line is something that really, really appeals to the New York Jets because Robert Saleh rotates his defensive linemen and in and out of the game. So that's why I think JFM got re-signed to a big contract and Foley didn't. Foley plays on the inside and only on the inside. He can't be put on the edge. And I think JFM, you bring him in and now you can bump him inside and now you can have a front 4 of JFM, Trayvon Walker, Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, and you can flip JFM and Trayvon Walker in and out. If JFM's feeling a little burnt and Walker's feeling fine, you can rotate Rankins in and he can play on the inside because Walker can bounce outside. And if Walker's a little bit burnt, you can bump JFM out to the outside. You can bring in, again, Rankins to the inside or even Marshall to the inside. It gives you positional versatility so that you don't have to feel hamstrung running the same guys. I think so. That's what I think is happening at 4. Now I'm going to go into each position group for the draft more in depth as time goes on and as we get closer to the draft. But that's what I think we're going to be doing at 4. But going back to how the Tyreek Hill trade affects us. I think a lot of people think that we are now hamstrung and we are 100% going wide receiver at 10. I think the exact opposite now. I look at our division and I look at what we have to do and who we have to face in the wide receiver rooms of these other teams in the NFL. And I go, we have to face Stephon Diggs, like Gabriel Davis and Jamison Crowder 2 times a year on the Bills. And it sucks losing Jamison Crowder to the Bills, but that's 2 times a year where we have to face 3 really good wide receivers. Let's go to Miami. Now you have to face Tyreek Hill. I think it's Devontae Parker. I can't remember his first name. Yeah, it's Devontae Parker and Jalen Waddle as your 3 wide receivers 2 times a year. And then you have to look at New England. New England's going to run the ball on you until they can't run the ball anymore. But Jacoby Myers is still there. You know, Kendrick Bourne had a sneaky good season last year. They brought back Aguilar, and Aguilar might take a step forward. And I think that they're in on the wide receiver in the first round. You look at it, and it's a big stacked wide receiver rooms in the AFC East. And my thing is as comfortable as I feel about DJ Reed and what he's going to be able to do, we're going to be asking Bryce Hall to cover number 2 wide receivers that on a lot of teams are going to be number 1s. By Tyreek Hill going to Miami, that pushes Jalen Waddle down and Devontae Parker down, making that like Bryce Hall, it's not like he just freed up from the Tyreek Hill duties. You still have to cover Parker. Michael Carter II now has to come in and cover Waddle. I think what the Tyreek Hill trade has done is I think it's made the AFC East wide receiver rooms so deadly that I don't see how the Jets pass on Ahmad Gardner. I don't see how. I don't see how you look at that wide receiver room in New York and go, I feel comfortable. Cornerback room. Say, I feel comfortable with that cornerback room covering those wide receivers in the AFC East. DJ Reed is excellent, and I love that signing. Don't get me wrong. I love DJ Reed being on the Jets. I think he's underrated at cornerback. I think he gets ignored because of his height. But according to Pro Football Focus, of all cornerbacks that were rated and ranked last year, he was the 8th best corner in football. And you're adding that to the Jets at a young age. He is 25. He won't even be 26 by the time the season starts. That's a big deal to me. And then you add Sauce Gardner on the other side of that, and you go with a 1-2 cornerbacks of DJ Reed and Ahmad Gardner, and Bryce Hall now becomes cornerback 3. You can maybe bump him into the nickel. And now you have a rotation at the cornerback room, so you never have to play any burnt corners. You don't have to play a corner every single down. You can have someone fresh covering Tyreek Hill every down, because you could 100% realistically say DJ, like you could rotate Bryce Hall and Sauce Gardner in and out to cover Tyreek Hill. Obviously, you give them safety help because Tyreek Hill, right? But like, I would feel comfortable with that. I would feel comfortable telling DJ Reed to cover Stephon Diggs one-on-one, and now you have Sauce Gardner and Brees Hall, like, rotating in and out. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that we can do, and I think that if we look at the San Francisco model of wide receiver, they only have one round one wide receiver on the team, and that's Ayuk. Every other receiver is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round guys that they're going to get production out of. I think one of the sneaky best signings this offseason is Ray McCloud from the Steelers going to San Francisco. I think the Steelers didn't use him effectively, and I think that Ray McCloud has holes in his game, but he's going to go to a San Francisco team that's going to ask him to do a lot less in a simplified scheme that's like wide receiver friendly and is going to help manufacture yards from him, and he's going to look like a steal. Again, he's a 6th round pick, and they're going to get production out of him. Deebo Samuel's a 2nd round pick. Ayuk was the only 1st round pick that they have, and he's a low 1st round pick. He was picked 25 in his draft. So I look at it and I go, I think the Jets' 1st round now consists of edge and corner. And I think that edge and corner pick is Trayvon Walker and Ahmad Sauce Gardner, because I think you have to address and make the cornerback room now the best cornerback room in the AFC East to compete with what I think is probably the best set of wide receivers in all of football. I think that it's out of this world good. Every single team in the AFC East has crazy good receivers right now, like minus the Jets, because I don't think they have like a super trooper like number 1. But if you tell me that the Jets wide receiver room next year looks like Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, and George Pickens in the 2nd round, or Christian Watson in the 2nd round, Jahan Dotson in the 2nd round, I'm seeing a lot of mocks where Treylon Burks falls to the 2nd round because he didn't have a really good combine. You're telling me that we're now looking at one of those guys in our wide receiver room? Look at the production we got in the last 5 games out of Braxton Berrios, someone who I don't think is a number 3 wide receiver. I like him as our number 4 wide receiver. Look at the production we got out of him. Elijah Moore to me looks like a legit number 1 wide receiver. He's going to be legit in this league. Corey Davis doesn't get hurt. I don't think we see that fall off from him at the end of the year. I think our wide receiver room is fine. I think in the 2nd round, there's going to be a lot of wide receivers that are going to be available, and I think that we're going to be fine. So let me know what you guys think and how this affects our offseason. I really think that we're going to be in a position where we're going to look at Trayvon Walker and Sauce Gardner being the picks at 10 and 4. And now you're looking at pick 38 being the wide receiver that we have to take, or 35 being the wide receiver that we have to take in the 2nd round, and just running a set of 4 wide receivers and just having depth, saying every single one of our wide receivers from 1, 2, 3, and 4 are threats. We can rotate in wide receivers and rotate out wide receivers. And we still have Denzel Mims on the roster. I'm not ready to give up on Mims. I want to give him half a season. If you can't figure the system out, if you can't figure this out, trade him. Trade him at the deadline. But I'm not ready to give up on him just yet. Give him 6 weeks. Give him another full offseason, a preseason, and then let's see what he can do, if he can earn his way onto the roster, and let's see if he can take that number 5 wide receiver spot, because that's what we're asking him to do. We're not asking him to be wide receiver 1 or even 2 or even 3 or even 4. We're asking him win the 5th wide receiver spot in the room. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you think this affects the draft process? Do you think that there's any other free agent signings or trades that are on the horizon that maybe we don't know about? Let me know. I don't think that there are, but who knows? This offseason is the craziest offseason in all of sports. And who knows what's on the horizon? Let's go Jets.